Hi, my name is Joseph Simonette. I've been in martial arts since 1972. I've studied many different martial arts systems, and what I've done is condensed many of those systems, or the key aspects of those systems, down into a format I call the slam set, done on the wooden dummy. Though it's a Wing Chun dummy, we don't just limit ourselves to Wing Chun. We do many of the different systems on it. As a training partner, a training piece of apparatus, I have found for me personally, the Mook Jong training is probably the best training apparatus there is. It never gets tired, it never gets sick, you can always slam it. I hope you enjoy the dummy set. I would like to cover the aspects of the physical Mook Jong. The main log here represents the body, the trunk of the body, as well as the legs of the body. I do not use the leg out here necessarily. I'm attacking the person standing. This could be their knees, their shins, their thighs, etc. These are their arms. It's the right and left arm, perhaps for a reference point for you, but really you can just use one arm and still do Mook Jong training. The right becomes the left can be also the right. This lower can be like a low shot here, even a karate type punch coming in. It can be a knee coming in here. This represents a knee coming at you, a kick. This can be elbow strikes coming at you. It's your imagination that determines what the Mook Jong is built for. Now, it looks like a Wing Chun dummy, and generally Mook Jongs are indigenous to Wing Chun, classical Wing Chun. However, this is built a little more towards my size. I am not a Chinese man, in case you didn't notice that. I'm 5'11", I weigh about 225. Most of the Mook Jongs you buy or purchase come from China, and they're built more for a Chinese type frame. Don't get hung up on a Wing Chun dummy. I'm going to be doing Muay Thai, I'm going to be doing Penjak Silat, Kempo Karate, JKD, a lot of different cross-reference training on this. Yes, I'm also doing Wing Chun, but this is the best training partner I've ever had. It's never sick, never complains, always shows up for training, and it toughens me mentally and physically. Universal understanding in ranges of unarmed combat. We have kicking, punching, trapping, and grappling. Whatever martial art that you're training may emphasize one or perhaps two or three of those ranges. In Mook Jong, we're emphasizing from trapping to grappling range. Within each range, you have sub-ranges. So kicking, punching, trapping, grappling. The trapping range, we have outside trapping and inside trapping. For instance, these arms represent what your imagination and intellect allow you to. In this particular case, from this point to this point, for instance, can be construed as or discerned as fist to elbow. It can also be from elbow to shoulder. Let me give you an example of that with my assistant Addie, please. Addie gives me a right punch. I'm right here, beginning the trapping range, of outside trapping range. How that looks on the Mook Jong is I'm right here. She gives me a right punch. Now I'm from elbow to shoulder, where prior I was from elbow to fist. I'm still here on the Mook Jong. It looks the same, but I've actually gone from outside trapping range here to inside trapping range here. We can also go into a grappling range. It's the same motion. Here's a choke. So you can see the emphasis of ranges of unarmed combat and the sub-ranges. And what we're doing here, again, is trapping into grappling ranges. This can be, any of these can represent a fist, an elbow, a leg, or a kick. This could represent knee length and or from knee to end of foot. You're limited only by your imagination, your intellect, and your ability to train and look into the Mook Jong. When working your slam set, as I've stated, we're in trapping to grappling ranges. Very important aspect of inside fighting is developing sensitivity. Sensitivity to touch, not emotional sensitivity. If you need that, take an anger management class and buy yourself a cute little puppy. I'm talking about the art or the skill development of learning pressure, learning to listen to your opponent's intent by the pressure that you feel instantaneously. When I say 2 plus 2, you immediately add it up. When I say don't picture what Santa Claus looks like, you see him. It's instantaneous. When I feel something, it's also instantaneous. But there's something else involved. It's time and distance. When we're going 60 miles an hour, we have two realities. We have time, which is 1 hour, and we have distance, which is 60 miles. Time and distance is synonymous. That's what's going on. If you don't have enough distance, you don't have enough time. Thus, the need for sensitivity drills. Let me embellish on that a little bit, please. Addie, right foot forward. What I'm going to have Addie do is react to my motion. With her right hand up here, she's going to do somewhat of an outward block. It doesn't matter the motion. We're talking about physics, time and distance, reaction time versus proactive. From here, she's going to block to her outside. She's going to move about 6 or 8 inches. My hand is going to be down here on my hip. I'm going to move 3 or 4 feet. So she knows where I'm hitting, what weapon or tool I'm using. She's completely aware of what's going on, but there's not enough time to react. There's not enough time to react. Does that feel good? Do it again, please. Just wanted to do it twice. There's not enough time to react because there's not enough distance. Now, how Addie can fix that, she gives me a right punch. I'm immediately listening to her intent. This is skill development, which is auxiliary training for your Mook Jong. If you notice my foot, from Penjak Silat, I'm always foot trapping. It's a habit you get into, I've gotten into. You have control of that lower art. By touching her upper body here, she presses towards me, I immediately feel it. Just like 2 plus 2, you immediately add it up. The minute she pushes, I feel it instantly. Also, Addie, put your hand on my arm, please. When I go to hit Addie, she can block it. Close your eyes. It's instantaneous. Block me when you feel me coming at you. Block me when you feel me coming at you. What's happening is, open your eyes, please. By touching here, these are her antennas. She's receiving information about my whole body. The obvious aspect of this is when I punch, she feels it. But for me to have any forward pressure of any intent at all to squish her, even to hit with my left, the right hand gives me away. When I go to kick, there is a body adjustment going on through her sensitivity or awareness training. Once I go to check kick her, she can immediately feel it. So this is sensitivity. We manifest that, please, Addie, in different sensitivity drills. One we do from the Philippines is called hubad. Many people work hubad lines. Clear, trap, hit. What she's doing, what I'm doing, is monitoring her intent through feel. Yes, this is a prescribed drill, but the work out of it can be spontaneous. She chops me. Here, once I feel her intent, I can do whatever I want from here. Once we establish these drill lines, we can go into lock flow lines, whatever we want from here. It makes no difference because I'm in control. In Wing Chun, a sensitivity drill, it's called Chi Sao. Different applications of this, different interpretations. Addie's hand, this is her Tan Sao. Here, this is my Fuk Sao. This is my Bong Sao, her Fuk Sao. Now we have forward pressure moving in, and we get rolling motion here. This is for sensitivity drills. It's a forward pressure listening guide right here. Right foot forward, Jeet Kune Do, JKD, they'll do hand trapping ranges from here. You can see now what we're talking about, the inside-outside ranges of trapping range itself. This would be like on guard in fencing, we'd have our weapons out in front of us here is where this came from. A trapping drill, boom, from there is another way of sensitivity. Also left foot forward, please. Push hands from Tai Chi creates a whole different line of listening to one's intent from here. So we can still take and do different lines from there based on sensitivity, awareness, and understanding. So as we develop our skills under Mook Jong, we're going to also add auxiliary training of sensitivity drills to enhance everything. It's common to have martial arts systems get more complicated than they need to be. What we're going to do is break down the body into upper-lower art, inside-outside lines for clarification of positioning and awareness of where you are in combat. Let me give you an example. Addie, please. If Addie were to give me a right punch, I am now on the inside line of her punching. Inside line makes reference to here, if her left arm were up, all the way in here. If she gives me a right punch, I'm now on the outside line. Anywhere around the back is your outside line. We break the body in half. Wing Chun has different gaits. Fencing has different quadrants, etc. I want to simplify it, not make it more complicated. I break the body in half. From the waist up is the upper art. From the waist down, the lower art. It's not just necessary to understand that, but you have to manifest physical drills that help support that intellect process. What I mean is, she gives me a right punch. I'm now on the outside line of her upper art, but I'm on the inside line of her lower art. Sensitivity means total body sensitivity. So I am now feeling where her leg is. When I know where one leg is, I know where everything else is. Now, because of my awareness of outside line of upper, I've neutralized this gun over here. I understand the inside line of lower art. It's very easy to manipulate an opponent with that awareness. When working with a live partner, the inside-outside line is quite obvious. Working with the Mook Jong, again, it's back to your intellect and your imagination. When I'm bong sawing here, I appear to be on the outside line, and I very well can be. But the dummy can be kind of tricky for the uninitiated. What's happening is I could also be on the inside. Let me give you an example. As Addie gives me a right punch, I am on the outside line. If she gives me a left punch, I'm now on the inside line. Don't move, please. But on the Mook Jong, it looks the same. My imagination tells me where it is that I am. Also, how the Mook Jong can be tricky, when I block here, I often lopsaw, a controlling, pulling hand into some sort of other motion or attack. For those of you who don't know, it may appear as I'm blocking the right arm and grabbing the left. It could be that, but it's not that. As Addie punches me, I'm blocking here, but I've crossed over, pushing her center line out away from me, neutralizing the left side of her body on her upper art. As I lopsaw here and go into a hit, it may appear on the Mook Jong as if I'm grabbing the other arm, but in fact, I'm just grabbing her bent arm. These are things that you need to keep in mind as you train your Mook Jong. Upon beginning the Mook Jong set, we have to go over a stance, what I call the neutral position. Neutral position is very important. It's your starting point. It's an awareness training drill as well that you can use anywhere you go in your life. Police officers, whenever I explain this to them, always seem to raise a positive eyebrow when I explain this. Neutral position, we're going to have our weight evenly distributed. You never want to have a straightened leg or your body shifted from beginning where you are vulnerable, and I now am limited in my response abilities because of my body positioning. Neutral, by its name, implies I can go anywhere I want. Tucking my chin is very important. One of the most vulnerable places on the body for attack is the throat. What I like to say is if they can't see you, they can't breathe, or they can't walk, you're probably going to win. So when I elbow into their throat, I've got one of the three to begin with. So neutral position, when I start this form, or basically any kind of confrontation, outside of kill range, I can't be standing here, Addie, please. So those of you who are going, oh, wait a minute, I'm not neutral position standing here. I am outside of kill range, neutral position. Once she enters my kill range, I'm already going to attack anyway. I don't mean up and making myself vulnerable to an opponent. Neutral position, weights evenly distributed. I'm going to tuck my chin. That protects somewhat my throat, one of those three major problems we talked about. By tucking my chin, I protect my throat. I look a bit subservient. I'm protruding the hardest part of my body, all of our bodies, which is our forehead. This is the hardest part you have. When they say you have a hard head, they're right. Also, from your vantage, being up here or even back here, you can see my vertical line of my spine. You never want to be in a negative position here. Addie, please. With an index finger, she can push me down. What I do, here's a neutral, and by tucking my chin, it brings me slightly forward. This is also very important, not only physically and structurally, it is for peripheral vision. Huge important aspect of this. When I'm standing here full of hubris in myself, acting cocky, my chin up, where'd that come from? I can't see her at all. Perhaps in a bar, a crowded area, a ball game, where you're a little bit cautious. What I'll do is I'll keep my chin tucked. I can see her when she even thinks about attacking me. She better not apologize, okay? So by tucking my chin here, as she comes at me, I see her. So I have this forward load, protected throat, protruded forehead, more visual. I look like a subservient nice guy. I bring my head up, she disappears, I'm very vulnerable. So when we start our Mook Jong set, the slam set, we're always going to start from a reference point of a neutral position. It also doesn't telegraph anything at all.